Okay folks, question 5 coming up now. So question 5 was the pyramid question. Pyramid question had a square base pyramid. So you had to read the question carefully to find the length of the square base to then get the area of it. Because the volume of a pyramid is in your formula sheet. It's 1/3 AH. The A stands for the area of the base. So the area of the base, if its length is 6 in this question, would be 6 times 6 because it's a square based pyramid. That's just 36. That's nice and easy. And so your volume would be 1/3 times 36, that's your area, times the height, which in that question is 9, I think, if you read it carefully again. Multiplying that through, you get an answer of 108. And you're almost finished. In the question it does mention rounding to two significant figures. So your 1 is your first significant figure, your 0 is your second significant figure, and the 8 rounds that up. So 108 rounded to two significant figures would be 110. And your units there are centimetres cubed. Alright, that's question 5. Okay, question 6. Question 6 caused quite a bit of bother because question 6 involves bearings and people get scared about bearings. So first of all, get yourself a triangle drawn. It resembles the diagram. I think there's a point A, point G and a D. At each point, if you just draw north lines so they're up and down through that point, like so. And the question told you that the bearing of D from A was 125 degrees. So basically the angle that goes from the north line at A round to the line that goes to D is 125. Now, what you're being asked to find out is what's the bearing from the bearing of G from A. So that's the little dot there. That's the little angle you need to find. So in order to do that, you need to use some sort of trig to get the angle inside the triangle. You're told 90's up here, 60's here, and 75 is here. Now you're not given any other information regarding the triangle, so you don't know any other angles. So you can't use sine rule. You can't use sine rule because that's needing that two fractions to be complete. So our next step is to use the cosine rule, and we're finding an angle, so it's cos A equals, and when it's big A's there, the little a's got to be at the end, so it'll be G squared plus D squared minus A squared over 2GD. So that would look like cos A equals, let's put in the numbers carefully, 75 squared plus 90 squared, and then take away your 60 squared at the end, over 2 times 75 times 90. Has to be the 60 in that position, because that's the little a across from the big A. Little a across from the big A. To get the angle at A, it's cos to the minus 1 of basically all of that fraction. So if you do cos to the minus 1 of that fraction, in your Casio calculator you can type in exactly as that. If you've not got a Casio calculator, you can do the top line and do the bottom line separately, and then cos to the minus 1 of that fraction. The answer that you do get in your calculator is 41.4 degrees. So that's the angle that's inside the triangle there. You want the bearing on the outside. So the bearing would be the difference between 125 and that angle you found out. So it's 125 take away 41.4. And that gives you an answer of 83.6 degrees. And that's question 6. Right, last question, question 7. There's two vectors written in I, j, k form. Now just the side of the note there, it shows you that if it was I, j and k, that was just the numbers that you'd get in each of your components. So F1 was the vector 3i plus j minus k. And F2 was the vector I plus 3j. So if you're getting the resultant vector, adding the two of them together, F1 plus F2, in component form, you could have 3, 1, minus 1 for your F1, and you're adding 130 for your F2, and it's because there's no K's there, so that's where the 0 comes from, because there's no K. 1i, 3j, 0k. Adding them across, you get 4, 4, minus 1 is your vector. And if you want to get the magnitude of that vector, f1 plus f2 equals, it's the numbers in your vector squared added together under a square root sign. Remember, any negative number put in brackets. Gives you 4 squared and 4 squared, 16 and 16 is 32, and another 1 is 33. So root 33 is fine, which also, if you were doing it in calculator, would give you about 5.7. And that's the homework finished.